New York City is supposed to be the freest place on earth, right? A city where millions arrive every year, believing that if freedom has an address, it must be written somewhere between the Statue of Liberty and the skyline of endless skyscrapers. But what if the very city that promises liberation is quietly teaching humanity a new, more sophisticated form of captivity? Because I want you to imagine looking at New York, not as a tourist or an immigrant or a dreamer, but as a pilgrim. Someone not chasing money or status, but truth. Someone asking the most dangerous question of all, in 2026. Am I truly free, or am I just distracted? Because at first glance, New York feels intoxicating. The lights never sleep. Identities are fluid. Expression feels limitless. Nobody knows your past, and nobody seems to care who you become. And that first feeling is powerful, almost addictive, like a clean slate, where you can reinvent yourself endlessly. But here's the first crack in the illusion. Because the American dream promises freedom, but demands total submission to the grind. And in New York, that grind is unforgiving. The cost of living is crushing. Silence is rare. Competition is constant. And suddenly freedom comes with conditions. Work more, sleep less, run faster, or you fall behind. And this raises a deeper question. Is freedom really freedom if it forces you into a never-ending race just to survive? Or is it simply the freedom to choose which chain you prefer? Because Islam teaches something radically different when Allah says in the Qur'an, do they think they will be left alone because they say, we believe, and they will not be tested? In New York is a test, disguised as opportunity, a city that tests your patience, your humility, your purpose, and most dangerously, your sense of self. Because in a place with endless options, endless identities, endless lifestyles, something strange happens to the soul. Decision fatigue creeps in, meaning becomes blurry. And the pilgrim begins to realize that choice without direction is not liberation, it's paralysis. And while the city celebrates diversity, it also subtly demands conformity. Dress like this, think like that, succeed by these standards. Because even rebellion becomes a brand here. And the pressure to be validated, applauded, and seen slowly replaces the quiet need to be true. And this is where the invisible chains tighten. Because you are free to do almost anything, except disconnect, except slow down, except ask why you're doing any of it. And the Prophet Muhammad warned us of this inner enslavement when he said, wretched is the slave of the dinar and dirham, not because money is evil, but because the heart was never created to kneel to numbers. And yet in New York, the worth of a human being is often measured by productivity, followers, income, and influence. So the pilgrim searches for escape, maybe in art, maybe in relationships, maybe in success, but the deeper truth slowly emerges. The cage is not the city, the cage is the definition of freedom we were sold. Because real freedom is not doing whatever you want. Real freedom is knowing what you should want. And Islam defines freedom in the most unsettling way for modern society, by saying that the one who submits to Allah is liberated from everything else, liberated from trends, from ego, from validation, from fear of missing out. And interestingly, even in New York, moments of genuine freedom exist, in quiet corners, in late-night conversations, in communities that support rather than compete, in prayer rooms hidden between offices, in people who choose contentment over chaos. And that's when the pilgrim realizes something profound. New York doesn't give freedom. It exposes what kind of freedom you're actually chasing. Because if freedom was found in a place, the richest cities would produce the most peaceful souls. But Allah reminds us, verily, in the remembrance of Allah, do hearts find rest, not in locations, not in lifestyles, not in endless options. And so the final verdict isn't that New York is evil or holy, free or enslaved, but that it is a mirror, a magnifying glass, that reveals whether your freedom is external or internal, whether you are running toward meaning or running away from silence. And the real question this pilgrim leaves you with is not whether New York is truly free, but whether you would still feel free if the noise stopped, the applause faded, and you were left alone with your soul. Because the most dangerous prison is not built of concrete and steel, it is built of desires with no direction. And the most powerful freedom is not found in a city, but in knowing exactly who you submit to, and why.